And I say, oh, I sound like I have a slur. And she said, no, you sound like you could work at a Chinese restaurant.
I'm on.
Cash.
Kasha.
Crash.
Krasha.
Crashed.
Krasha.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sleeping, had to wake up. Why? Every reason.
What's up, YouTube? Today, we'll be looking at disturbing TikToks that'll make you question reality. Before we get started, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, 2026. Let's get it. And may everyone exceed the expectations that they set for themselves this year and reach even higher. So without further ado, welcome to Adam Strain Reacts. Let's get her done.
The world is $281 trillion in debt.
You are in luck. There's a parable all about this, and it's awesome. There is a town somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and everyone owes each other money. And then one day, a traveler comes to town, and he stays in a motel. The motel has a full refund policy after 24 hours. He puts down $100 and gets a room. The motel owner, he looks at this $100 and he's like, whoa, oh my God, this is exactly how much money I owe to the baker. So he goes and pays off his debt to the baker. The baker looks at this money and he's like, well, this is exactly as much how much I owe to the shoemaker. And he goes to the shoemaker and pays off his debt and goes through several people until eventually someone's like, hey, I owe this amount of money to the motel owner. So he gives it to the motel owner back where it started, and then the traveler is like, hey, it's been 24 hours and I don't like it here. So he takes his money back and he leaves. Everyone has the same amount of money, but then suddenly nobody's in debt. Because money isn't real, but debt motivates people. So it's important to the economy for some reason.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, really, I've always thought about this. Like, who do we owe a debt to when you're a country? And they say the International Money Fund or these, other countries. But this example sort of displays something that's very interesting. And on a more massive scale, I think something very similar to this is happening in Europe, where a lot of the countries within Europe owe money to each other that basically they'll never be able to repay. But at the same time, if you deduce the debts from everyone, it's almost like everyone ends up in the clear. So maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, I feel like it kind of makes sense that at the end of the day, it's just an idea that we have and it's not really mathematically sound. And I guess that's why the concept of usury was like, prohibited by the Christians and this and that, because I think it sort of creates a part of value of money that's unreal in a way. So let me know if I missed something, but that example, do you catch it? Does that make sense? Everyone paid each other, but at the end of the day, the same amount of money is there, and the guy took back his $10, but everyone's accounts are settled. So maybe I'm missing something. Write it down below, keep me in the loop, and let's keep on rocking.
Gosh.
Okay, Nikki is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old girls. I don't.
And what do you think about for young men? For young men.
And for young men, don't be new scum. Yes, see, they're young men.
Are you?
Yeah, that whole situation, I haven't really spoke about it much because I find that there's not much information and a lot of speculation. But it's kind of interesting that you're trying to live off the legacy and continue the legacy of someone, but it seems like you're not following that person's beliefs at the end of the day. So I find that whole situation to be pretty cringeworthy, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think down below, and let's keep on rocking.
Coming to the tree, they strung up a man, they say he murdered three.
It's not the same.
Strange things that happen here, no stranger would it be. He left at midnight in the hanging tree.
The list goes on and on. This must be stopped. And in order to stop this, join the American Congress Party.
It wasn't until I was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, she actually said, are you aware of the way you're speaking? And I said, oh, I sound like I have a slur. And she said, no, you sound like you can work at a Chinese restaurant. She said, you look good working the local China house or something.
Sarah was an IT specialist until a severe migraine, bordering on a stroke, brought the syndrome on.
Cash.
Kasha.
Crash.
Crasher.
Crashed.
Crasher.
Okay, let's try reading.
You wish to know all about my grandfather.
There are
Wow. Imagine that. You get into an accident, you come back, and it's like you're speaking a different language, or at least a different accent. Never seen anything like that. If you have more of those, send me. I find that super funny. Let's keep on rocking.
plotting how to move the flavors they find in this grove to your supermarket shelf, and then on to your stomach.
I can see it in a sports drink. I can see it in a water, flavored water. And I also can see it in a twist on an orange carbonated beverage.
When they find something they like, they extract its flavor molecules from the fruit on the tree. Then back in the lab, they mimic Mother Nature's molecules with chemicals. Essentially, what you do is you take whatever this smells like,
Right.
and copy it.
Right. Exactly.
And then I suppose you could, if you choose to, you could quote unquote improve on it.
Exactly. Yes, we all the time.
The holy grail, a flavor so good you can't resist it.
In our fruit flavors, we're talking about we want, a burst in the beginning and maybe a finish that doesn't linger too much so that you want more of it.
And you don't want a long linger because you're not going to eat more of it if it lingers.
Ah, so it's going to be a quick fix, and then
Have more.
and then have more. But that suggests something else,
Exactly.
which is called addiction.
Exactly.
You're trying to create an addictive taste.
It's a good word.
Or something that they want to go back for again and again.
It's a good word. Shameless. Shameless. There's really a problem. And to be honest, the problem is not really them. They're the symptoms of the problem. The problem is us not seeing the value in what's natural. Thinking that you could improve on nature, I think is a mistake, and the fact that we continue to consume these items just gives them more money to hire more people like this and continue the process. So I think the only way that we could really find a solution to this is voting with our dollar. If you compare the same thing in the States and in, let's say, Spain, one of them is going to use natural ingredients and the other one is going to use all these chemicals. So until we realize and until we stop craving for these things and we break the addiction, which obviously that's what it is, I don't think we're going to be able to get out of this. At the end of the day, this is more than just reproducing a taste. This is mind control. They're playing with your mind and hoping to get a desired outcome, which now they admitted is addiction to a certain product. So I find it very sad. I'm not taking the blame away from the individual that's consuming this on a daily basis, but it's kind of hard to get out of it at one point. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think that doesn't matter if it tastes good, it's fine? Or should we be more focused on what gives us a good effect within our body? Let me know down below and let's keep on rocking. Wow. It's really to have a glimpse into that world just makes me realize how much we come from greatness and how the mighty have fallen, the beauty of the architecture, the way people would present themselves, the respect that they had between them. You know, just the fact of dressing properly and holding a good posture, and it's something that is so beautiful to see, and I wish we would live in that era, or at least that era could come back in one way, shape, or form. But just the beauty of the buildings, the details that you could see, and all the so beautiful, so beautiful. Let me know what you guys think down below, and let's keep on rocking.
The reason why we use the word flirtation is because noble women in the 1700s used to flirt or wave their fans in a specific way to subtly communicate that they were interested. And if you find a way to cheat the system, you found a loophole, which is what these arrow slits and castles used to be called, which were basically cheat codes for archers because they could stay hidden while shooting arrows. And if a topic is really specific, it's a niche topic, and we call it that because a niche is a hole in the wall that was carved out to hold a specific object like a statue or a relic. And the front panel of a car is called a dashboard, but it's also the name of the wooden board that's attached to the front of a carriage, which basically protected the driver from being pelted by rocks and dirt while the horse was dashing. And bankrupt comes from the Italian word bancarrota, which means broken bench, because Italian merchants used to sell their goods on benches, and banks would literally break these benches if they didn't pay off their debt. If you put off a task, it's on the back burner, and that's because the fire and wood burning stoves was right beneath the front burners, and the heat would dissipate as it traveled to the back, so you just naturally place the slow cooking pots there. And the statues in front of ships were called figureheads, which is why we now call the leaders of a group or a company a figurehead. And we call video recordings footage because a movie's runtime used to be measured in feet. The theater cameras would literally project 1 foot of the film stock in 1 second.
Isn't that all your...
It's so amazing to see where things come from. One of my recent songs, I say, the etymology, it teach you more than all your recent technologies. And like that's pretty much it, because we get so far into the application, we forget where things come from. And I love to dive back into the past. It makes me be able to use, the proper word at the proper time and understand what it means and where it comes from. And obviously, a lot of these things get diluted, changed. And the name of that song is actually called Inverted. Our world is inverted upside down. So it's like, it's very interesting to see how words change, but also to see how we still use words that have a lot of meaning, but we've lost the meaning, but still use the application. Very interesting. Let me know what you guys think about etymology down below. Is that something you like? Because I would love to share a ton more with you guys. So let me know down below, and let's keep on rocking.
Computer screens are blue lit. The reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology, is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MKUltra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
Have you ever read the tiny folded up piece of paper with micro font that you get with your new iPhone? Because if you did, you may be using it differently. The FTC requires that this warning be put in not only the settings of your phone, but also in this piece of paper, the manual that comes with it. Exposure to radio frequency. That's the emissions, the wireless emissions. This is a hot topic. On your iPhone, go to Settings, General, Legal and Regulatory, and RF Exposure. What does it tell you in the RF exposure part of your settings? No big deal. Just that you should keep it away from your body to ensure exposure levels to these electromagnetic frequencies remain at or below the as tested levels. Did you know putting your phone in your pocket exceeds the as tested levels of frequency because it's too close to your body? Or how about putting your phone to your head? It exceeds the amount of frequency that they said was safe. In other words, it could be unsafe. Now, in the past, I've gotten in trouble for posting about the EMFs, the frequencies from Wi-Fi, cell tower, smart meters, because it's a censored subject. So I'm going to bite my tongue with this for certain few things here, but pay attention. There are many hardware and software fixes to iPhones or any phones that could make them significantly be less harmful because of these frequencies. By the way, I went to an Apple store a long time ago to get a device that you can plug your phone into along with an Ethernet cable, and you can have your phone on airplane mode, not connected to the tower or Wi-Fi. You could have your Wi-Fi off and still have full speed internet because your phone's plugged in via Ethernet. I'm talking to this guy at Apple, and he goes, I told him why I'm doing this, and he goes, yeah, well, I don't really see it's a big deal. Like, I'm sure it's totally safe. And then he goes on to tell me that on his thigh, where his phone is always in his pocket, you know those guys that work at Apple, they got 3 phones in 7 different pockets. I mean, it's crazy. He's like, yeah, I do have a rectangular mark of red skin on my thigh from where my phone sits all day. Yeah, dude, that's called a rash from radiate. I mean, what do you think? It's EMFs, man, electromagnetic frequencies. It disturbs your cells. Now, it turns out one of the things you can do if you're using Wi-Fi, which I recommend figuring out how to not use it, but if you are using Wi-Fi, have your phone on airplane mode while it's connected to Wi-Fi. Then it's not trying to connect to the tower and the router and reduces the EMFs. Ideally, though, you plug your phone into the internet and have it on completely airplane mode. And obviously, don't put it in your pocket or talk with it directly pressed to your head. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. You know, you're connected at a distance from a tower that's radiating all these EMFs, so it kind of makes sense that it would be dangerous to have it close to your body. But it makes me think about the older technology. You see, back in the days, we used to use the cord phone, right? And the cord phone, when you think about it, it was plugged into the wall, but it wasn't even plugged with electricity. So I'm pretty sure that the radiation or EMFs that would have been radiated by that are probably 1,000, if not 1,000,000 times less strong. So a lot of time, you know, we change our technology for accessibility, but we either reduce in quality or we increase in toxicity. I think we're a bit lost, you know. And I was thinking about that recently. Like if I were to build a house today, I wouldn't want it to be wireless. I would want wires everywhere inside of the walls so that anywhere I go, I plug myself in. Why would I want all the information? Like, let's say you're watching a video on your phone. Why would I want the information of that video all around me at every moment, you know? And then to go just a step further, if you look at, you know, a lot of people now, they tend to live in condo buildings, apartment buildings. You ever look, when you look for a Wi-Fi inside of one of those buildings, you're exposed to at least 50 of them at the same time. Can you imagine the multiplication and how dangerous that could be? So it's kind of weird. They're selling you a cell phone. It's made to talk on the phone, but if you put it here, it hurts you. If you put it in your pocket, it hurts you. So I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, you know? I think we're gonna need a little bit of consciousness and realize what we're doing and try to find a solution to it. I've heard about the stickers on the back of the phones. Does anyone use that? Does that work for you guys? I'd be very curious to see what ideas you guys have to reduce the EMFs. I've heard about the lead paint. I've heard about different types of ideas. But let me know what you guys think down below. Are you team wireless or are you team wired? I'm team wired all the way. So let me know down below and let's keep on rocking.
Excuse me, I just want to say I really like your style. You look incredibly stylish, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, I don't mind you saying that at all. It's a very nice thing to say.
I'm a portrait photographer.
What is the shtick? Tell me.
So I talk to the stranger, I take a picture of them.
I disapprove thoroughly of social media.
I know what you mean.
I think it's poisonous.
But I've tried to use it as in a positive way. So what's your name?
Irene.
And you're a teensy bit skeptical?
Of course, because I live in London and the world is full of scams.
Would this face scam anybody?
That isn't something that you can ever say, unfortunately.
I'm going to show you what I do.
Okay. Oh, how sweet.
You were walking very briskly there.
I have things to do. I'm going away next week. I'm 88 and a half. I'm old.
You are so sprightly for 88 and a half.
Yes, I am. I am sprightly for my age because I make a point of doing a lot of exercise. But also, because I know I have limited time, my son says I am frenetic. So I am filling it with lovely things. It's aloneness rather than loneliness.
If you could write a letter to your younger self.
Don't be cautious. Go for it. I was often too cautious.
How is your confidence in your life?
I am up to a point. For instance, I have just booked myself this holiday. It's called Solos, the company, because they deal with people on their own, on a gullet, which is a Turkish sailing ship. And at first I was fully confident. Now I suddenly am thinking, and it's only a week away, oh my goodness, I'm going to be the oldest person there. I'm going to be a pain in the neck to everybody. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yes, I don't know how it's going to be on this boat. Getting on and getting off is going to be a problem.
Hopefully this has been a nice experience for you, Irene.
It's been a different experience through Kensington Gardens.
And what are your hopes for the future?
Long life. Which I've already had.
Wow. What an amazing woman. I really love everything that she said, to be honest. Don't be too cautious. It's aloneness, not loneliness. Wow, 88 years old. Very impressive, very inspiring. And wow, so beautiful to see, to be honest, to see someone with so much liveliness. Wow. I hope she has many, many more years to come and continues being frenetic, because I agree. It seems like people nowadays, they hustle to be able to do nothing. I never understood it. Like, the goal of working for money is to be able to do something with your money, right? It's not to go home and close your brain down for 8 hours on Netflix and then go to bed, right? So I love to see something like that. And to be honest, I feel like I have more in common with this woman than a lot of people of my age. Really beautiful, really inspiring. Long live her. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Let's keep on rocking.
Famous experiment by the Russian biologist Dmitry Belyaev, who in the 1950s started selecting foxes on the basis of reduced reactive aggression. So here's what he did. He took foxes, slightly black version that occurs in Canada. They'd been in Russia for 50 years, breeding without anyone deliberately selecting them. And so what Belyaev did was to arrange for people to walk towards the young foxes when they were something like 6 weeks old. And at the point that the young fox said, "Ah!" then they would write down, well, how far was that? And they would breed from the ones who got closest, who allowed the human to get closest. And within a few years, in sometimes 3 years, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 10 years, different features that are found in domesticated animals suddenly appeared, such as these white patches. Doesn't look much like a fox anymore, does it? It looks like Fido. Floppy ears. You probably remember that there's only one animal in the wild that has floppy ears, or one kind, and that's elephants. Floppy ears are characteristic of our friendliest dogs. So these are examples of features of the domestication syndrome. And what we're seeing here is evidence that you select against reactive aggression, and then, boom, magic, you get these features of the domestication syndrome, which is why goats and horses and cows and cats and dogs all have individuals that have got white patches of fur on them. Floppy ears occur in all of these animals too. And it means we can now reverse engineer, as it were, and go backwards and say, okay, if you show a self-domestication syndrome, or if you show a domestication syndrome, that means that there was selection against reactive aggression. And fascinatingly, Homo sapiens, that's you and me, or most of us anyway, I think here, has key features of domesticated species as determined by archaeologists. So archaeologists working in the range of, say, 5,000 to 10,000 years quite often find an animal bones, and they want to know, was this a domesticated species or was it a wild version? Was it a wolf or was it already a dog by this time? So they look at the bones and they say, well, okay, how do we tell? And here's how they tell. Lighter body, shorter face, smaller teeth, feminization of the skull and skeleton, and brain reduction. And guess what? Homo sapiens shows all of these features in relationship to our earlier ancestors. So why did it happen?
Wow, isn't that crazy? How a fox sort of becomes a dog just by selective breeding and by reduced aggression? That is completely ballistic. I wonder if we're going to start drooping our ears soon, because when you think about it, we're all pretty much domesticated now. It's very, like, socially speaking, they talk, as soon as you show any sign of aggression or you say no, or you're categoric about something, they call it toxic masculinity. So there's this association that aggression is toxic, So I wonder what's going to happen to us. Are we going to start having patches on us? Are we going to start drooping the ears? What do you guys think down below? Did you know about this? I had no idea. That is, to me, it's mind-blowing. But let me know what you guys think down below, and let's keep on rocking.
Dubai is absolutely insane. They plan on building this, which is a real Emirates A380 that's being decommissioned, and is going to be on the top of a 580-meter building, 125 floors. It's going to cost $3 billion to build. And it's absolutely insane. They've got a sky bar with glass walkways over the wings being proposed, a restaurant in the cockpit, infinity pool, exclusive lounges. They even want a helipad on this thing. It's still in the proposal stage, and this is obviously an AI recreation from the designs. But man, Dubai, first the wall, and now this, it's going to be insane. Absolutely insane.
75% of the brain and central nervous system is made from cholesterol. All of your sex hormones are made from cholesterol. All of the walls of all of the trillions of the cells in your body are made from cholesterol. Cholesterol is so important to the human body that your body makes it.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping round the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face, there's nothing I can do. It doesn't take a crystal ball to see. A cowboy always finds a way to leave. Drinking Jack all by myself.
Rome is in the middle of the Americas. It's all a Roman corporation. Every time I see the Mexican flag, I see the Italian flag, because it's exactly the same, minus the Roman eagle. Rome, which runs Mexico, in fact, Mexico is the center, Mesoamerica, it's the center of the Americas. This is where the Jesuits came, installed their Inquisition. Mexico had a violent, vicious Inquisition. They're telling you in your face, if you know what you're looking for, they've got the eagle, the Roman eagle, right in the middle of the green, red, and white, exactly the same as the Italian flag, which comes from the Persian flag, which is horizontally green, white, and red. Because the Roman elite families, the Farneses in particular, the Orsini, the Pallavicinis, Aldobrandinis, they're all from Persian. They're all Iranians.
And that's a wrap for today, familia. Whether you're tuning in with the sunrise or you're posted up after midnight, I appreciate your time, your energy, your curiosity. And don't forget, this isn't about truth or fiction. This is about perspective. If this sparked a laugh, a thought, a deeper question, then we did our job. So drop your thoughts in the comments, keep the convo alive, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell if you're riding a wave, because we're just getting started. So until next time, stay grounded, stay weird, stay critical. I'm Adam Strain, and this has been Adam Strain Reacts. Peace!
I don't know what y'all think, but now's the time for us to link up. Really think we on the brink of making a change from living this strange.